And then term limits. You're proposing two 3-year terms.
I am at the present time. I feel very, very strongly that yeasting commissions and boards is very important. But part of it is I would like to see young people step up. I don't think that the older generation, including myself, should be in there forever and ever and ever. And I actually look at the Board of Selectmen as an interesting example, because while there are not term limits, if you look at the composition of the board over time, it has turned over, and younger people have come on board, Patty Raghaveen, Bobby DaCosta, and so to me it's a very healthy thing. I just don't feel that an elected commissioner who's been sitting there for years and years and years is bringing new ideas and new thoughts to the process. So,
well, we have other commissions where there have been commissioners reappointed over and over and over again.
That's true, but in fact, to be appointed, you still have to apply, you have to submit your credentials, and in this case, I feel that
but you don't have to take that extra step of putting yourself out there to be running for office.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is that if there are 100 commissions in the Commonwealth and we're the only ones that elect, what are they doing wrong or what are we doing right that suggests? I just think you get a fresh look at the people who are qualified and would apply, and I think we have a lot of talented people in this community. And I would just like to see more of them stand up so that we have different voices addressing the question.
Doesn't it also further present the potential for further politicizing the whole HDC process because of the fact that they would, if they were appointed, you know, I don't like what Mr. X has done as a member of the commission because I'm a selectman, I'm a builder. There's at least one. And so I'm going to get my buddy in there instead. And my buddy's going to do what I say. That's a problem anywhere, but it's particularly a problem perhaps where you've got, as I say, such a visible and politicized atmosphere.
Well, it's very interesting because when you go back to the original act of 1955, it provided that the selectmen did appoint the members of the HDC. And over time, maybe because it was politicized incorrectly, we got into the, we'll keep it away from the selectmen so there's no influence like that. But here again, in Cambridge, the city manager, first of all, you apply if you're interested in serving on this kind of board. Those applications are reviewed as our selectmen review applications for appointed boards here. There's a public hearing. People have a chance to present their point of view and why they think they would serve effectively. And then those appointments are made. And I, quite frankly, think that the Board of Selectmen in the last 3 or 4 generations, 3-year terms, has gotten stronger, better, much more aware of the importance of involving the public, and I think the selectmen have made very good appointments to the various commissions in recent years.
Should term limits apply to other people, other boards and commissions, as well as this one?
Well, some term limits are natural, as I say, like the selectmen turnover, other boards turnover. I really was not addressing the entire committee structure of the community, but when I look at the annual town report, the majority of members of those various boards and commissions are appointed, and I'm not. I think there's a natural turnover that creates term limits in one way or another.
Would you distinguish between those who are elected and those who are appointed?
In what way?
In having term limits.
Well, the appointments are automatically term limited because your appointment is for a 3-year period or whatever it is, and then you have to.
No, but a term limit is just saying you're done, whether you're elected or appointed after 2 terms or 3 terms. Well, that's what the term generally, the phrase generally means.
One model I see is the vestry of St. Paul's Church, where you are allowed to serve 2 3-year terms. You are expected to step down at the end of the 6 years, and then you can reapply again if you feel that you're ready to serve again. So that's a good question that could be addressed in a broader sense at the right time.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add on the subject?
Well, I think that it's important to note that there is a strong groundswell. The group called Citizens for Sensible Preservation is working very hard on this question. And they've prepared a 3-page summary of sort of guidelines on how to get through the HDC process. I look at what I'm proposing as being more strategic planning, if you will. And I look at what that group is doing is more tactical, that is operational, how to go from day to day. But I think the bottom line, quite frankly, in an effective HDC system is to get more staff, to have the staff do the review, have the staff make the recommendations, and let the staff do their job. Take the important, significant questions to the full board for discussion. In Boston, 70% of the applications are reviewed and approved or recommended for consent, because that's the way you have to do it, before they ever get to the board. So the only cases that are really discussed in detail are the significant ones. And I think that's a way we could go.
Last issue I'd like to discuss with you is the issue of enforcement of HDC determinations. As with many other boards and commissions that make determinations, it's pretty hard to get them enforced if the property owner decides that they're not going to abide by them or go off in another direction.
Well, quite frankly, I would go back to town leadership and to the town manager, in fact, and from that, wherever that should be assigned, because an awfully good example is I filed a complaint on the property on Milestone Road 5 years ago regarding demolition by neglect. The HCC sent a couple of letters to the off-island owner. They were totally ignored. Nothing was done. And as far as I'm concerned, it's time to tighten the screws on that and to, through town management, and I'm not sure who issues the order, but you can go to court if needs be. But we've got to...
but it costs money to do that. It costs money to have enforcement officers. It costs money to go to court. Do you think the town, the voters, are willing to foot the bill for that?
Well, it costs money to run good government, and I think that in fact, in both Boston and Cambridge, there have been no court appeals in according to the Preservation Trust report. Nantucket, there have been 2. So I don't think that's a deal killer. I think that if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. I think there are protocols, and quite frankly, there are several demolition by neglect cases that are current now. And among other things, you have the option to go in and do eminent domain, or certainly condemn them, so that, like the sinkhole situation where they had to condemn that property and tear it down the day after it happened. I'm not saying we should tear them down the next day, but I don't think that's a deal killer. I think we can enforce where we need to.
Okay. Well, it'll be very interesting to see how the voters deal with these issues at town.
Well, I would encourage anyone who sees our broadcast to go online to the Preservation Institute, Preservation Trust, pull off their report and read it. And I hope there will be a lively and healthy debate at town meeting. I look forward to it.
Good. Thanks, Curtis.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you being with us.
Pleasure.